All right, I'm here with Tim Zahn in San Diego as part of his Star Wars Scoundrels book signing tour at Mysterious Galaxy in San Diego. This is James for Club Jade. How are you doing, Tim?
I'm doing fine, thanks.
All right, how is the tour going so far?
Going very well. This is number 5 of 6 on the tour. It's a very short tour compared to some I've had, but they thought West Coast only in January is a good idea. Don't try to send me through Chicago, for example.
There we go. All right, so Scoundrels has now been out for about 2 weeks. What's the response been so far?
So far as I can tell, it's been going very well. The reviews on Amazon are very positive. Various other reviews I've seen have been good as well. So I'm just hoping more people find it and enjoy it.
Excellent. Well, now getting into Scoundrels, when you were writing Scoundrels, obviously it's about a heist, kind of, Han Solo putting together a team of specialists for a caper. When we were plotting it, how did you actually plan the heist part of it? Did you actually have to draw out maps of the bad guy's place?
You start with the vault. Try to make it as impregnable and unbreakable as possible. Then you have to go back and try to figure out how I'm going to get into it, how I'm going to each step, how we're going to get around, over, under, or through it. And but you do start with the problem to be solved, and then work backwards from there.
And then that also works backwards into what type of people do I need, what specialists,
Exactly.
what kind of characters to bring in. You mentioned earlier that the Ocean's 11 film series was one of the inspirations for this tale. Was it just the general concept, or were there some specific plot elements you thought that would be really cool to do in a Star Wars fashion?
No plot elements from the movies. The reason I identify it as Star Wars meets Ocean's 11 is that there are a lot of heist caper movies out there, but a lot of them have a group of really nasty people who are looking to stab each other in the back and betray each other whenever possible. The two movies that I'm familiar with that are not like that are Ocean's 11 and The Sting. And that was the kind of flavor I wanted to bring out in this book. It's going to be a fun caper, hopefully, a lot of twists and turns, but you don't have to worry about somebody being knifed in the back at the end of it. It's going to be a group of professionals all working together, and just should be a roller coaster, a fun roller coaster ride.
Excellent. So you put together the team. They have these different obstacles they face, some things they didn't anticipate.
As always.
As always, and they're able to roll with it. So you have Han kind of in the mastermind or the leader role. How did that come about? Is Han being in charge?
Because Han is the hero of Star Wars. It's you've got to put him in. He was the one who's approached in the book and requested to help the gentleman Yanger out in getting his money back out of the Black Sun Sector Chief's vault. Han states up front, I'm not a burglar, I'm not a bank robber or vault robber, but he does know people who are that type and who have the specialities. And Han is a planner. He can do planning if you sit down and in conjunction with some of the other experts in the field. So we wanted to focus on Han as the leader, mastermind, the kind of person who brought it all together, even if he's not the professional in this field.
Okay, and so is it more fun to write Han kind of as this, when he's on his own, but obviously he's the leader of this caper, or Han as the family man later on?
Well, Han's fun no matter what era you're working with him. Heist books, heist stories are just fun by their very nature, and the fact that he doesn't have a wife and children changes the dynamic of his life, but makes him no less interesting, no less fun to write about. I enjoy writing Han anytime I get a chance to.
All right, and then obviously pairing him up, he's got Chewbacca at his side, and he's got Lando, who he's not so sure about working with, and Lando kind of gets pulled in. How does that dynamic kind of work? Because that's very different from what we've seen in the later stories when they're back to, good friends again.
Well, one of my takes on this, there was one explanation. The explanations have been given as to why Han and Lando had their falling out. The first was that Han got the Falcon from him. I think the second was a caper gone bad in the Ann Crispin Han Solo series. My take has always been that when Lando says to Han at Cloud City, "You've got a lot of nerve after what you pulled," Han's reaction is not the kind of reaction I would think from someone who had put your life in danger, cheated you out of thousands of credits. It's more of a, who, me? It's much more of an innocent reaction. It must be something a little bit less life-threatening. So I've tried to kind of reconcile the two of them in this book and then come up with another less dangerous reason why Lando may be a little miffed at Han.
Well,
we'll see if it works.
We'll see if it works. And obviously Lando and Empire, he's got other things on his mind, so maybe this was more of a little bit of a warning saying things aren't here things here aren't what they seem.
Well, there's also that, if Lando is actually trying to give a signal to Han.
Some of the new characters that you introduce in this, Eanger, he wants his money. He's been wronged. He's been very badly injured, and he wants his money. What more about his character you want to say?
He's the guy who gets the whole thing rolling. He's the one who spots Han doing. It's the somebody else shoots first thing. We won't give that away for people who haven't read it. But decides Han is the kind of person he wants to mastermind, to organize this whole caper. So he's kind of, the linchpin's the wrong word, but he's the motivation, I should say.
Okay.
By the way, for those who are keeping score and the nitpickers and such, I originally wanted to call this Solo's 11. They wouldn't let me do that. But the amount of money that Eanger was robbed of, the 163 million, is the amount of money in the vault in the Ocean's 11.
So there we go, a little reference there.
So it's just a little Easter egg there for people.
All right. Did you throw any other random Easter eggs in that you want to talk about, or maybe save those for later?
The other Easter eggs for the expanded universe readers would be Keltainer and Winter there, which is nice for those who know who they are, but it's not necessary for people picking up a Star Wars book for the first time.
And actually with Winter, because she is a big part of the EU, it's really interesting to see her this close to one of the pivotal events of her life, the destruction of Alderaan, and how that's shaping her. How is that getting into her head?
At this point, this is only a week, maybe two, after the Battle of Yavin. At this point, she doesn't even know if Leia's alive or dead, because Alderaan's been destroyed, the Death Star's been destroyed. Leia was heading back to Alderaan at the time, so Winter has no idea whether this closest of friends is still alive. Plus, she's dealing with the loss of all of her other friends. And bearing in mind that she has an eidetic memory, she can never forget those friends. They will always, I think the phrase I use, they'll always have a red haze over those memories, as they're as vivid as ever, but she knows they're gone. So that's the downside of that kind of memory.
Yeah. And then another one of the characters that you introduced that's new, Dozer Creed. He's the ship thief that you bring into this, and he's got a very sort of unique character arc in this, that he is brought in. He's not necessarily sure of things, and then there's an event in the story that really kind of shakes him up. So how is it to get into his character, right about somebody who's got some confidence for some skills, but then really gets shaken to the core?
The way I approach this sort of thing is to envision myself as the character. And the incident you're referring to, I can understand entirely why he was shaken. I can understand why he's not sure he wants to continue with all of this. I can understand why, when everybody else is still good to go, he will go along with it. And I can understand his it's not a change of heart, but it's perhaps a resolve at the end. And
it also really heightens the danger represented by that. That maybe in other stories we hear about it, but we don't recognize what it can really do to a person.
And that's of course the secret they always tell you to writing: show, don't tell. I could have told what Faline are like to people. It's much better to show someone under that influence, and as you say, see what kind of danger that presents.
Yep, and then some of the other characters you bring in, the twins, Bink and Tavia. We kind of saw a little bit of their backstory in a short story that you wrote for Star Wars Insider. What do you envision for the future for them?
They are fun characters to write. Just plain, just plain fun. They've got enough backstory. They've got enough interaction between themselves and with other people that there are a lot of good stories that could be told about them. They would interact very well with Lando as they did in Win or Lose All, the ebook, and I can see them dealing with Han and driving him crazy and vice versa. But yeah, Bink and Tavia are fun new characters to write. So is Rachel. Actually, all of them were fun to deal with.
Yep. Cool. And then finally, back at Origins last year, I think there was a proposal to write with Mike Stackpole and Aaron Alston a set of tales about the Horn family over the generations. Any progress on that?
That is on hold at the moment while we find out what Disney plans to do with the whole novel line. We don't know. They are concentrating on movies, possibly TV at this point. We may not know for a couple of months. We may not know for 6 months what they have planned after the book contracts are finished. So we're just kind of hanging fire and waiting to see what happens.
Anything else on the horizon for you?
I am in the midst of doing a 3-book collaboration with David Weber in his Honor Harrington universe. Set 400 years before Honor herself. So we are doing a lot of the backstory to how Manticore became the sort of galactic powerhouse pivot point that it is in Honor's day. And it's been great fun because David has only done a little sketching of what happened to that era, and we're filling it in, working on the politics, retrograding the technology so it fits 400 years earlier, and just having a grand time inventing this whole section of his universe.
Right, so sort of filling into that prequel era in the Manticore world.
Yeah, it's excellent. A prequel. Could go wrong with a prequel.
We'll find out the secret of the midichlorians there.
No midichlorians at all.
All right.
And the One Ring will not make an appearance.
Okay, that's always good to know. You're not going to draw it across 3 books there?
No, I don't. Well, we've got 3 books worth of story.
There we go.
Possibly 4.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Tim, for taking time to speak with us today, and good luck with the rest of the tour.
Thank you.